Pop the popcorn, put on your comfiest pajamas, and grab a drink because it's time for a new episode of Sierra Unfiltered. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sierra Unfiltered.
Yeah, this is Steven here. How's everyone doing?
I am so excited to be back. I am all smiles right now because this has been something that I have been really looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since we did one of these.
I know. I just posted the podcast episode that I filmed with my brother Jordan, and that was filmed over a month ago. And then the last episode we filmed was the week before that. So
yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So, and so much has happened in that month. What the heck?
Well, I feel like our world, like our personal life, got all flipped upside down. And then right as we were kind of climbing out of that hole, ready to get back into things, the world as a whole kind of got flipped on its head with the coronavirus pandemic.
Yep, so that set us back.
Yeah.
And we bought a house, and that set us back as well. So
yeah,
it's just been a rough time for the Steven and Sierra in the world.
But I think we're kind of getting out of the craziest part of everything.
We are. And we're settling into the home.
We're getting our feet on the ground.
I feel like we got the hardest stuff out of the way, and now we just have the annoying stuff to get out of the way.
Yeah, we were trying to, we got this really cool neon sign to hang on the wall of the podcast room that says Unfiltered. We thought it would be really cool for the background because right now it's just like a plain wall.
Yeah. We
spent, an hour and a half trying to hang it up?
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out because it's really heavy and it's also expensive. So we're trying to make sure we do it right.
And that we don't break it.
And we spent like half an hour trying to find out the right way to do it. We found a way. We're like, oh, this is it for sure. We started doing it, and then like it just wasn't working out. So we obviously missed something. So
well, and also it's 8:30 at night right now, and we're like,
yeah, we're tired.
And I think Steven and I both are the kind of people that are like, when we get our mindset to something, we just have to hyper focus on that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very real possibility that we would have just worked on that sign for like 4 hours and then been like, oh, it's midnight. We can't record a podcast.
Yeah. And especially because I didn't get really sleep last night. I was back at the old house finishing some things up there, and crazy times.
Well, we'll have to make sure we get good sleep tonight.
Yes, definitely.
But before we get into the podcast, well, I guess we're already in the podcast, but what you drinking?
I am drinking some water out of our new refrigerator.
Oh.
Ooh, my first glass of water, may I say.
Oh, this is my first glass of water from the refrigerator too, so cheers to that.
Cheers to that. We had to drain a lot of water and ice, and we're finally at the we should be good to go phase.
Yeah, I guess you have to drain the first 2 or 3 gallons of water from a new fridge, which feels like such a waste, but that's what they said to do. So
yeah, well, we watered the plants.
Yeah, what did you do with that water?
Just threw it out in some bushes. 3 gallons of water is not that much water. I mean, it's like a lot, but it's not that much.
It sounds like a lot because you're supposed to drink a gallon a day. That's 3 days of drinking water. But do you want to go ahead and do your hot take?
Sierra and I were talking about this before, and I don't think I have a good one. I just can't. I'm not inspired with hot takes. It's been so long since I get to hear you and Skylar give hot takes. I forgot what a good one is, but I'm ready nonetheless.
Okay. I did an Instagram live before this, and I didn't have a hot take, and I asked everyone for recommendations, and I got one from a viewer, and then as we were setting up, I was listening to music, and I got another one. So I'm going to do my original one, and I'm going to save my viewer recommended one for next week.
See, that's not fair. I'm the one who needs help, so I should have been the one who got the help.
Neither of the... Then you go live on Instagram. I would love to see a Steven Instagram live.
Yo, what up?
What would you say?
I would say, come with me. We're going to clean the pool.
You do a pool cleaning day in the life?
Come with me. We're going to play Call of Duty. Mow the lawn, clean the pool, play Call of Duty.
I could see you doing Twitch streaming.
No.
Or lawnmower streaming.
Lawnmower streaming. I could put a GoPro on the lawnmower.
Or on Bella as she watches you mow the lawn. I like that idea. And barks at the lawnmower.
There's one thing people in the world don't want to do, and that's see Bella's every movement.
I disagree. I think there'd be a market for it. People love Bella.
Oh boy.
I got a DM the other day because I've been going through my DMs so much. Usually I go through them a couple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And recently I've noticed that whenever I go through my DMs, I'm always in such a better mood because, I probably shouldn't say this because then it's going to invite hate, but not that many people hate me to the extent that they're going to take the time to write out a private message to me, whereas some people will in like comments so that other people will see it. Mm-hmm. So I don't really get that many hate DMs. So my DMs are kind of a safe place for me to go through. And every time I do, I feel so good. Like everyone is just so nice, and I love hearing from other people who watch my channel and stuff. But someone DM'd me the other day and said that she said, my friends tell me I have big Bella energy.
I'm sorry, that is the worst diss anyone could give anyone.
I loved it. But I interrupted you. Do you want to do your hot take?
Yeah, I don't even want to say it. I'm so embarrassed. But my hot take is that I don't have a hot take.
No.
And how that's an issue. No, okay, my hot take. So I just think of things that I like and you don't like, because that's a good place to start for me. I'm the kind of person who, like, I just love air blowing my face. Like a cheap Walmart fan just blowing it, like a fan in my face. I like that. My hot take is that I like fans.
What? Your hot take is that like, a hot take is supposed to be, like, controversial.
So, yeah, we are in a pandemic. Things are serious. So, I'm going to, play it easy on the hot take.
You don't want to give a hot take that could polarize anyone.
Yeah.
You just want to be like, fans are good.
Fans are good. And that's why we're going to unite as a people and agree that fans are good.
I hope someone out there is like, F fans. Like,
well, okay.
Fans are the worst.
I'm talking about, like, put a fan in front of you, like, while you're watching TV. You hate that.
Yeah, I don't like the feeling of air blowing in my face, but I like ceiling fans because it just kind of circulates the air. Yeah. You know what was the funniest thing?
What?
So my friend Corey was in a sorority, and so when she lived in the sorority house, and one of the things that they did was, because there was like, she lived in a room with like 12 other girls, so people would be coming and going at all different times. So they had like 4 big box fans just going all the time as like white noise.
Yeah, I love the white noise from fans.
And now she can't sleep without a big box fan blowing, because it's like trained her that like that's sleep time is when the big box fan goes. So I went to visit her in Montana. It's like -2 degrees outside, and she's got a freaking box fan blowing.
I mean, I had my fan in my entire life until I moved in with you.
Well, no, because our first apartment didn't have AC.
Well, that's the point. I needed a fan.
Right.
Remember,
you
I
said
had the fan.
Until I moved in.
Remember, I had the fan on my side of the bed.
I remember.
And then I lost it one day. It was very sad.
But why did you say until I moved in with you? Like I outlawed fans.
You didn't like them as much, and it was just like some gentle pressure to get rid of mine. Like, turn it off.
Well, we have a ceiling fan in our bedroom here, so I feel like that's kind of a...
That's honestly been my lifelong dream. Oh, wow.
I just spit everywhere. I'm so sorry.
Oh, and I saw it. Ew.
I just was so not expecting that.
Well, that's my life aspirations, is to have a fan.
I remember when we had been dating for like 6 months, we went to Disneyland. And this was when you were driving buses at your college.
Goals.
And you literally said to me, as we're like holding hands on the shuttle bus taking us from the parking lot at Disneyland to Disneyland, and you go, man, that guy's just living the dream. Someday when I retire, I want to just move to Anaheim and drive Disney buses. And you were dead serious. There was not an ounce of joking.
There was a time where buses were my life, and I loved driving buses.
Do you still stand by that you want to move to Anaheim when you're retired and drive buses at Disneyland?
I'm open to the possibility of spreading joy through driving such large vehicles.
You would so be the person, too, who, like, kids walk on, you're like, well, hi, princess. Do you want a sticker? Hi, family. Hop on board. Happy Magic Day.
Yikes. Anyways, what's your hot take there?
Oh, my hot take. Okay. So... this hot take is not for you because you have no idea who I'm going to be talking about.
Dang it.
Do you know who Olivia Rodrigo is?
Oh, yeah.
Do you actually, though?
She's a great baseball player.
Do you actually know
I have no idea.
So she plays the lead in High School Musical, the series.
Okay.
And I personally think she is the next Taylor Swift. Maybe bigger than Taylor Swift. I started listening to her music because she sang this song in High School Musical, the series called All I Want. And it's all I've been playing for the past 4 months, right?
Is it inappropriate to just call that High School Musical?
No, it's not High School Musical. It's High School Musical, the series.
Wow, that is a mouthful.
So, Olivia Rodrigo, she plays the lead. She's 16 years old. she wrote a song for the show. Like, she actually wrote it, and Disney was like, this is so good. We're not... I mean, think of the writers that Disney has. Probably, like, the best in the world. They said, none of our writers can do it as good as the 16-year-old girl. And they actually used her song.
Yeah, that's cool.
I followed her on Instagram after I saw her interview with Genius, where she went through the lyrics. And I was like, holy crap, this girl is so talented and so smart. And now while she's been like quarantined, she's been posting quarantunes where she just writes songs, and she'll post like a minute snippet. And it's like a mix of like kind of more indie sounding, like Ingrid Nielsen, but with that like Taylor Swift young singer-songwriter vibe. It is so good. Like, I'm tempted to like record the audio of her playing these songs on Instagram just so that I can have them.
So, to make fun of you for making fun of my hot take, how's this a hot take? You just like the girl.
But she's not, I mean, she has 2 million Instagram followers, but no one is really talking about how like, oh my gosh, she needs to be taken seriously as a singer-songwriter. Like, she's so talented. Like, I don't hear anyone talking about that. And I'm like, this girl is the next Taylor Swift. Like, she is. She's so good. And it drives me crazy that people don't recognize it in the same way. And they're just like, oh, that girl from High School Musical. No. She
just hasn't blown up yet.
She has in a way, but I think her music is going to become bigger than like her as an actor.
That makes sense.
So my hot take is that all of you are missing out by not following Olivia Rodrigo on Instagram. Is it Rodrigo or Rodrigo? I need to make sure I'm not messing this up.
And my hot take is that I like fans.
Olivia Rodrigo is her name. She posts these amazing little snippets of songs, and she's just so good, and her voice is so good.
And I like fans.
And you like fans.
I'm gonna keep laughing about that.
So that's my hot take. That's Steven's hot take.
I've been stuck inside too long. Send help.
But you haven't really, because you are considered an essential worker, and you have to go to work.
And I'm needed on site for like 40%, but there are 40% of my work week I am in the office. So
it makes me nervous. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's it is what it is. It's essential. So
does it make you at least feel like important?
Not necessarily.
No, you're not like, I'm essential.
It just, what I'm working on is essential.
You as an individual are not essential.
Yeah. I am replaceable, but what I'm working on is not.
I just it's hard because I feel, and I think a lot of people feel this way too, which I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I guess I will. I feel bad for complaining about the minor inconveniences that I'm having because of the coronavirus pandemic. I feel like I shouldn't complain or vent or talk about it because there are so many people going through so much worse. There's so many people losing their jobs. There are so many people who are losing family members, so many people who are losing their own life. And I feel like for me to sit here and be like, my husband has to go to work.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
I can't go to Target. I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, why am I even talking about that? But then also, I feel like we shouldn't necessarily bottle that up, and it's such a balance.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, that's just like a bigger human thing of like, our perspectives are our realities, and it's hard to be like thankful and like understand the big picture and where you are compared to others. And we're in a, yes, it sucks that I have to go to work, but it's fine, and I have to, and I still have a job and everything like that. So that's why I don't mind it the slightest bit, because in my books this is totally fine.
Yeah. I'm just scared. I'm just scared that you're gonna get infected, and
it's just scared of the unknown for everything. And that's what, no matter what it was, if it's me going to work or some random what do you call them? Postman?
Postal worker?
Postal worker? That's not...
Delivery man?
The UPS guy.
Yeah.
That's scary. Even if it wasn't me going to work, then maybe that would be the scary thing of the day. Like,
yeah, it's
just a time filled of unknown, and so we kind of strike this fear and everything. So
well, and that's another reason that social distancing is so important, is that if let's say you did get it from going to work and you gave it to me, that would end that spread with it just being the two of us, versus if we went and hung out with your parents and my friends and went out to a bar, like then we're continuing the spread, versus like if we just get it, hopefully we'd be okay, but at least we wouldn't be spreading it to anyone else.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So yeah, you can go as far as you want down that path talking, but I don't know how far we want to go.
I've found it really interesting to just kind of like widen my lens and what I see by listening to what other people are going through and how other people are being affected. Like, I didn't even think about it, but so many people's weddings are canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Think about, like, that's crazy. People spend years sometimes planning weddings. And then the week before, 2 weeks before, there's pandemic.
Yeah, no, there's endless amounts of things. Like, you know, for us, it was like Sierra and VidCon. You know, Sierra's supposed to be this big featured creator this year, and that was supposed to be like a really big thing for us.
But see, even talking about that, I'm like, that is literally
it's
the tiniest problem.
Is. And then there's people whose weddings got changed. Like, I can't even imagine trying to navigate you through that of having that your dream day changed, or like funerals, and like how does that go about right now? And there's just so many things, and like,
or even like, you know, let's say I had my miscarriage a month later. Can you imagine going through a miscarriage right now, having to go to the hospital and even giving birth right now? Like, it's really restricted on who can come to hospitals and everything. So yeah,
it's definitely a crazy time. It's definitely unprecedented. You know, our lifetimes for sure, I would imagine.
I feel like the only somewhat similar thing we've lived through was 9/11. And I was 6 when 9/11 happened, so I hardly even remember it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy.
It's like a similar feeling. Like, even though I was only 6, I remember things feeling weird and feeling different and not knowing how to talk about things and how to ask about things. And everyone just kind of walking on, like, eggshells.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like it's the same right now, where it's just this big event that's affecting so many people, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, and it's, you know, that mixed with, you know, insane amount of jobs being lost right now, and just...
I know. We should stop talking about coronavirus, though, because people want to use YouTube as, like, an escape.
Yeah, it is crazy, and we don't know how to navigate it, so we're trying to figure it out.
So we're just gonna not.
But yeah, we have no like final say on anything.
Last thing I want to say about coronavirus, because I just think this aspect of it is interesting. Apparently, YouTube is demonetizing videos where people say the word coronavirus. Yeah. So I've heard a lot of YouTubers that I watch being like, you know, that thing that's going on that we can't talk about. I've just been saying it because I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to just be like, so that thing, and if it gets demonetized, whatever.
Well, I think the important part is just understanding that we don't know anything about this strange virus. Like you and I, we're just, what do we watch on the news for 5 minutes here and there? We're not the final say, and it's up to us not to spread any misinformation.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing in terms of like spreading correct information. I feel this very strong sense of responsibility to not just pretend like nothing's going on, because I do have a platform, and I feel like the one thing I can do to help with some sort of, you know, to do something is to tell the people who are taking the time to watch my videos, hey, please social distance, please, you know, don't go out, please follow the CDC guidelines. And so part of me is like, I feel this big responsibility to say that and to use my platform for something that's really needed. But then also I know a lot of people are coming to YouTube as an escape. And personally, when I click on a video and I just want to be entertained and someone starts talking about coronavirus, I'm like, this is not what I came here for.
Yeah. So on that note, we'll just end it right there.
Well, not the podcast.
Nope.
But
okay,
that
bye guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a big part of this last month.
Yeah.
But there's plenty more. So for those not in the loop, and I'm not sure how much you touched on this like in the last podcast, but you know, Sierra and I did get pregnant in February. Mm-hmm. And by Sierra and I mean Sierra.
You got me pregnant. I'm the one who was pregnant.
Yes, that is correct. And then at the end of, or no, that was in January.
That was in January.
And then at the end of February, Sierra had a miscarriage.
I did.
So that was a very scary, tragic thing. We definitely talked about it in our vlog.
I feel like I'm able to talk about it a little bit more now.
You are.
Because I think it was really good for me to take a month away from YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I think my first nature would have been like, it's fine, I'll film a video about it tomorrow. And I'll start making normal videos again in a week. I'll skip one upload. There we go, done.
Yeah.
And that would have been like putting a Band-Aid on a giant gaping wound. Like, it's just not going to work. I needed to give myself some time to heal. And now I feel comfortable talking about it. And not only comfortable, but I feel like we talked a lot about like, how can there be any good out of this awful situation? And I think the only thing Steven and I came to is like spreading awareness and spreading my story so that people don't feel so alone. And so I think for me, by talking about it, I feel like at least I'm making someone feel less alone about it. And maybe I'm helping people understand miscarriages more. Yeah,
that was the hardest thing. Like one of the hardest things, not the hardest thing, was just feeling so hopeless and like out of control. Like, you know, you alone, because that's your body and your experience with that, having no control over that yourself.
Yeah.
But like, you know, then I'm kind of sitting with this idea that I don't have any control of. And it's like, okay, how can I help this? How can I make sure no one goes through this again? And, you know, usually there's like, oh, I can put money towards this and try to help, you know, advance research there. And at the end of the day, miscarriages, that's not how that works. They just happen, and they happen pretty commonly.
Yeah.
And the only thing you really can do is just share your story and let people know that they're not alone, because it is an incredibly isolating, lonely thing.
I was shocked at how many people who watch me online sent me messages with their story, and then doubly shocked at how many people I know in real life who I had no idea had a miscarriage, who sent me a message saying, hey, I just went through this 6 months ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is so common, and I had no idea.
Yeah, it's almost taboo to talk about it.
Which is interesting, because I think for me, you know, once the shock of everything had faded away and I'm like, all right, how do I want to handle this? It was never a question of if I wanted to share it. It was a question of when and how.
Yeah, and I could also see it being really hard for people outside of that experience to ask about it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a very personal thing, of course, and it's hard to navigate, so yeah.
I have a friend who also had a miscarriage, and I really leaned on her during that time. And for me, it just felt so helpful to have someone who understood it and someone who had been through it, and also being able to see like, oh, I will get out of this. Like, oh, it does get easier and it does get better.
Yeah, that was a very important person, kind of at the beginning there when that was all happening. So, because so I mean, even just that whole thing was just so traumatic on so many different levels. I was almost 2 hours away when everything started happening. Sierra's in LA, driving through LA traffic, trying to get to a hospital.
One of them, like, I don't know. Do you ever have those moments that just make you like believe in humanity again? And you're like, oh wow, like people are good at heart. Like there are some really crappy people out there, but like
most of humanity is
good. I had this moment where I was standing in the hospital waiting room
by
myself, sobbing. Like I didn't know if I was having a miscarriage, but I was pretty sure. I'm just absolutely sobbing, shaking, like horrible. And this woman comes up to me. I did not know her. She didn't know me. She comes up to me. And she hands me a little pack of tissues. And she just put her arm around me and she was like, I have been there. I've been through this. I can tell you right now, this is the worst part.
Yeah.
And right now, what you're feeling and what you're thinking, it will get better from this and it will not get worse from this. Yeah. I remember just like crying into this stranger's arms.
Yeah.
And like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman has no idea like how much I needed that, you know? But I had a couple moments like that when I was in the hospital where I was like even just like the nurses and the doctors there were just so nice.
Yeah, it was a fantastic crew they had. Everyone was taking care of us.
Yeah.
It was obviously a very emotional time and very scary time.
But I had so many little moments like that where I was like, people are good at heart. And after the miscarriage and, you know, going through messages and DMs and talking to people in my real life, it just made me realize like, it's so cliche, but like my faith in humanity was restored of like this awful, horrible thing happened. And so many people who did not have to do anything to try and make it better tried. Yeah. You know?
And that was, you know, we had that and
I don't want to cry.
We were in the ER 2 different times on, you know, 4 days apart.
Yeah.
And it was, every time I go to an ER, I just walk out with so much respect for the nurses and doctors working down there.
I feel like you could have been an ER doctor in a different life. You kind of have that, like, crisis handling, calm face that I see in so many people who work in the medical industry.
Yeah. I just have so much respect for them, and I applaud them, and it's such an interesting thing to do. And then, you know, a month later, knowing that, you know, the whole, all just to be in that medical profession right now is very, you know, I hope those people feel very proud of what they're doing, because I definitely look up to them and what they're doing right now. The whole world is looking up to them right now. So
I have gotten quite a few messages from people who are just like, oh, I'm a nurse right now, so da 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 da. And I feel like every person who's a nurse, I just want to like hug them, but obviously social distancing, and be like, thank you for not only what you're doing now during this pandemic, but just like what you do in general is so amazing. And it takes such like a certain type of person to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, it's especially like emergency room stuff. Those people are seeing people at their worst points of their lives, and typically. So
one of Steven's friends just became an ER nurse, right? Nurse?
No, she's become a nurse in a hospital.
Oh, a nurse in a hospital. And she's in like a rotational, so she goes to like wherever they need her. Mm-hmm. And she started a week before the pandemic. Have you talked to her at all?
Yeah, I did talk to her briefly.
How's she doing?
Good. Just frustrations with lack of, you know, protective equipment and stuff, and not having that ability to pursue those things if they think they needed them, and not being able to test their own patients. So
yeah, the testing in California is like non-existent.
I think it's just largely the whole U.S. and, you know, the whole world's kind of struggling with that. So
yeah. We keep falling back into the pandemic. But
right. Anyways, so yeah, miscarriage, nuts. I was 2 hours away, long drive, got Sierra. And then it was a couple days of figuring out what the heck's going on, and then severe pain.
I had no idea how much pain was associated with having a miscarriage. It makes sense though, because your body has to not only shed like the normal lining like it would on a period, but like everything else that had been built up to that point.
Yeah. So just like, and it's contractions, I think, that are and it's like.
Is it technically contractions? It's just cramping.
Yeah, I'm using cramping. I'm using contractions. Different. Okay, I'm using them as the same. Like,
cramping.
I think of cramping as like a muscle contracting, but I guess they're very different, especially in that part of the anatomy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sierra, you were in a lot of pain.
It was honestly way different than I expected. I thought a miscarriage was like, you have pain, it happens, and then it's done. And then it's like emotional healing. And so I was very ill prepared for that week and a half of like the worst pain I've ever had in my life. It was so awful.
I mean, and that was because I think you had like the severe pain for about a week, and that was the longest week. So just like the first 3 days were so long. It was just like, I don't even know what we did, but it was like there was just nothing got done. Work gave me like the whole week off,
which was really nice.
It was really nice not having to worry about that. And we kind of, you know, there was lots of crying together, and there was just a lot of making sure you're okay. You know, we ended up going back to the ER because there are complications that can arise during a miscarriage. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So just being very wary of what's going on, and everything ended up being fine, but, you know, definitely drew on for a while. Mm-hmm. And then that did pass. And then once the physical part of it passed, then the emotional wave came crashing down on you. Because I didn't have that physical pain, so I was able to process that emotionally.
A little quicker.
Because Sierra was in the kind of pain level where she couldn't really do anything kind of thing. So it was
definitely the toughest thing I've ever been through in my life.
Yep.
I think it taught me to trust you and to lean on you because I had to. And I think in general, I tend to be a pretty self-sufficient person.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I like physically and emotionally needed someone.
Yep.
And you stepped up to the plate. And so it kind of showed me like, okay, when shit hits the fan, Steven will be there and Steven's got this, which is something, you know, that I learned to a degree a long time ago. But I think this experience just brought it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
And I think also sharing it online helped me to process it so much sooner. And I think a lot of people were really surprised that I posted about it like the day after it happened. And on Instagram, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best thing I did. Because it was like ripping the Band-Aid off. It was like, because on top of not only, that was not only my miscarriage announcement, it was my pregnancy announcement. I had not told anyone I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So I had this weight on my shoulders of like, I need to talk to people about this. I need to be open about this because that helps me. But also, no one knows I'm pregnant. So how do
Because I remember that morning we had a long talk, and I was very nervous about posting it that early. And I was like, Sierra, you need to take a break. There's no need to do that yet. And then we had a long talk, and it came to the conclusion that, yeah, this is probably the right thing to do. And we'll both post something. So I posted something too. And I am in full agreement that was exactly what we needed, because we would just spend, we were in bed all day those first 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then we got to lay in bed and we just read thousands of messages and just thousands of people sharing their same experiences. And, it's very, because like I said, you feel very alone. Like, why me? Why us? What did we do wrong? And then just hearing all these other stories of just so many different things, and it was so comforting in so many ways. And I'm very glad that you gently convinced me that was the right thing to do.
I talked to my mom about it a couple days after everything happened, and I was talking to her about our decision to talk about it publicly, and she goes, honestly, I think that's the best thing that you could have done. Because the way she was explaining it, she was like, you are the kind of person who feels things immediately and deeply. I don't have a processing window. Something happens and I instantly get to the point that sometimes can take other people weeks or months to get to, where they just fully embrace the emotion. I embrace the emotion from the very start, which is why I cry a lot. But I also think that's why I get over things kind of quickly. Because I force myself to process it immediately. So even in high school, when I would have a breakup or a fight with a friend, I would be so upset, sobbing, I would just let myself sit in that sadness
and just kind of get it over with.
Yeah, for a couple days or hours, and I would get it over with. And then I'd be ready to move on. Whereas I had friends who would go through something similar, a breakup or a fight with a friend, and months and months later, they'd be like, yeah, I feel like I never got over that, or I feel like I never processed that. And I'm like, maybe you just need a good cry. So I think posting about it helped me to get to that point of rip off the Band-Aid, let me just cry it out.
It also made it very real.
Exactly. It made it very real. And that's another thing with, I think, what my mom said about I feel things so deeply, so immediately. So I never really have that period of this can't be real. It is real. It is happening. And that's why I'm so upset.
Yeah. So that was obviously a very hard time, but we did get through it. And
I think we're still going through it to an aspect.
Oh, we will for the rest of our lives.
And that's something that I think is important to highlight, because I get so many messages from people who are recently going through a miscarriage or something traumatic like that, who are like, how did you get over it? And I'm like, I didn't. Yeah. I got through it to an extent.
Yeah.
I'm moving on with my life, but I will never be over this.
Yeah, and it was so helpful, because there were so many people who just were sharing their experiences and saying, hey, this happened to me 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This is never going to go away. And this will always be something you carry with you, but it will get better. And you will find out how to carry it with you. Mm-hmm. And it's you don't think that you're never going to remember this, because this will be with you for the rest of your life. Mm. And that was at first a really crappy, no,
oh wait, no, I won't just forget about this one day.
This won't become a thing I think about. And, that is exactly how, and then it kind of come to that realization that, no, this is the way this has to be. And then it's how do we find ways to carry it in a healthy way? This will be with us the rest of our life, but what's the healthy way of carrying it? And I think we've done a good job so far.
Another thing that I think really helped me was understanding that a healthy way for some people to carry it and get through it is going to be different than what it is for me. I heard from some people and read online as well that some people found closure by naming their baby and having a funeral, and I was like, that's too much for me.
Yeah,
that's way too much for me. But for other people, that's their way of honoring that, life and having closure. For me, it would have been too much. So we talked a lot about what we wanted to do, how we wanted to handle it. I thought for a while about getting a tattoo, which I still might do, or planting a tree. And what we ended up doing is getting these little necklaces, which I don't have mine on, but you do.
Yeah, I haven't taken mine off since. Well, so it wasn't we got necklaces. Sierra bought 2 necklaces.
I bought 2 to see which one I liked better. And Steven was like, I'll wear the one that you don't like, which I thought was really sweet.
And I've worn it since.
It's so cute. Every time I see it, it just makes me happy.
It keeps falling lopsided, but I don't really care.
It's really cute. I love it.
But yeah.
I thought that was a good way for us to be like, this is something that we hold with us, but this isn't something I have to cry every time I see it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just keep remembering so much because I haven't really revisited all of this stuff too much.
I know.
Like, one of the most torturous things, like, besides Sierra, like, that was her Google search history for a month. So
yeah, Steven went through so there was an article that you found that was like how to help someone get through a miscarriage, and one of the things was like, go through their computer and delete the cookies in cache so that they stop getting recommended things about babies. That's something you wouldn't even think of, but like all my ads on Instagram and Facebook were like, baby this, baby that.
No, that, and then like...
There was one part that was kind of funny.
What?
That I can find some lightheartedness in now. The day that I had my miscarriage, or the week of, Netflix was pushing this babies show.
The babies documentary came out.
Every time you clicked on Netflix, it was like the cry of a newborn baby, and the big babies.
And this is the time where like Sierra spent, probably 60% of her week in bed.
It was
like,
the
watching Netflix.
Biggest middle finger to me of like all time, that all I could do was laugh. I'm like, literally, I'm just trying to find some solace in Netflix, and every time I click on it, I hear the cry of a baby.
Yeah.
But in a lot of like the miscarriage groups and stuff that I'm in, everyone was kind of talking about it and how like just awful.
So everyone's like, well, no, I'm going on Netflix for a month.
Yeah. I was trying to watch Love is Blind, and every time I just kept getting reminded. But it was so shitty, it was almost funny.
Yeah. And it was about 2 weeks before we were planning our early announcement to online. So we were getting things in the mail, and that was hard. We had
only ordered one thing for the baby, which was a little Mickey Mouse crochet hat that we were going to use for like the photo announcement. So we decided to keep that. And a lot of people I saw were like, keep it for like your future baby. And I'm like, no, but this was supposed to be
this baby.
For this baby. So I think for me, I want to like maybe bury it or frame it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I don't want anyone else to wear it. It's like that was theirs.
We're holding on to it, and we have time to think about how we want to do it.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, so that was crazy. Going into the next crazy thing of our past month that is kind of tied to the whole getting pregnant thing. So Sierra, we talked about this on the blog, so this will be kind of echoing those same points, but a couple months ago, we determined that Sierra needed more room for the business.
Our family was going to need more room because we were going to have a baby.
So the business needed more room. We were going to have a little one, so we needed a room for that. And then we determined that I needed my own room. So kind of a work from home office, a place for me to like play my video games and just all that stuff. So we're like, okay, we're ready to upsize. So right before the miscarriage, we started aggressively shopping for homes. We saw a couple, put an offer in somewhere, and then this is our new home.
So welcome to the new house.
So before the miscarriage, we put an offer in on this property.
The offer got rejected.
So they went with someone else.
And then we had the miscarriage. We told our agent, hey, we're going to put a pause on looking at things.
Yep.
And then a week after the miscarriage?
It was almost a week. And then we had a lot of conversations. Like, there's no way we could start looking at homes again. They're like, do we stop looking at homes? Because, like, now we don't need the extra room. And, like, the consensus was our life, like, pathway is still going to have a little one at some point, regardless of how it comes to us. And that we're not going to let that event change our current plan.
Because it wasn't the only reason we were looking for a house. The other reasons were still valid. But we got a call from our real estate agent about a week after the miscarriage. Yeah. She was like, hey, zero pressure, because I know what you guys are going through right now. But the offer on the previous house that you guys put an offer in, the one that they went with fell through. So if you guys resubmit, they said they'll accept.
Yeah, so we had a long talk of like, oh gosh.
Yeah, we're like, we need to talk about this. So we like hang up.
And because this was like right at the point where we decided that let's keep moving forward. So
yeah,
it was like weird timing. Had this been earlier, we would have been like, there's no way that we're
hard no.
And we would let it go by. So we did it. We started the escrow. Mm-hmm. And blah, 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 here we are.
Well, there was a lot of blah, 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 in that little blah, blah, blah. But you like that?
Oh gosh, what have I done?
So things are moving forward with the house. We're like, you know what? This is a fresh start. We love this property.
That was another thing. It was like that fresh start too that even helped us push farther.
Yeah. This is something to focus on, something to look forward to. And so we start moving through the process. And then, you know, the coronavirus has been a thing since late last year.
Yeah.
But it only recently came to the United States and
well, like really changed day-to-day life.
Became a pandemic and changed day-to-day life. The day that I feel like everything kind of became real in the US was 2 Tuesdays or Thursdays ago. I'm not sure. It was the day that Disneyland closed, Coachella got canceled, and some schools got put on like notice, but they weren't closed yet, all on the same day.
It was kind of the day where if you're just sitting watching the news, it was like every 30 minutes, something
new
crazy
happened.
was like, Disneyland's closing.
So all of a sudden it became very like real. And I said to Steven, I was like, how does this change what we want to do with the house? And he's like, well, I don't know. Let's call our real estate agent. So we call and talk to her. And she was very like, you know, don't worry. Things can keep moving forward. And this day was the last day of our contingency, which basically means the last day that we can back out without losing our money. So we have like a 4-hour window before when we need to tell our real estate agent and sign this DocuSign of the last contingency. And every 30 minutes, something else is closing and happening and getting updated. And we're sitting there, we're calling my parents, we're talking to everyone, not sure what to do. And in the end, I was really surprised that you were the main pusher in like, let's stick it out. Because usually you're the one who's very like, I don't know, risk aversion. You're like, no risk.
And, you know, we were a little farther in the contract than being able to casually pull out. So we could have. We had the legal right to do so, but it was pretty late and we could have potentially had a fight for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, I think it was the consensus that we were looking, this was our like forever home. We were, you know, our old house was never a forever home. It was we thought we were going to be there longer than 2 years. Oh, yeah.
But not forever.
I was pushing like 7 years we'll be here. Sierra was saying like 5 years. It was kind of like once our kids get to school age, we would find
because we didn't like the school district that we were in. So we didn't buy that house thinking about schools.
Yeah.
Whereas this house we
right
did.
Before the kids go to school, we'll look. Yeah, so 2 years we were there, which is
but also
so
when we bought that
disgusting
house,
for me to think about.
when we bought that house, I did not have any employees.
Yep.
Sierra Schultzzie was not a business. Sierra Schultzzie was a channel with
working out of the dining room at our old apartment.
It was with 300,000 subscribers, I think, just me filming videos on my own.
Yeah.
And
then we had 3 desks shoved in there. We had a podcast set up, your paper roll set up, the sit and chat set up, the mirror set up.
Yeah.
Everything.
So it was crammed.
It was busy in there.
And I want to keep growing my channel and growing my business. And this house, the main thing with it is the new house gives us lots of options.
Yeah, so we have a lot of options.
We're using all the rooms right now for, you know, the business and channel. We have a whole dedicated podcast room. But when we have kids and we want to free up some of these rooms, there's a garage we can move to. There's a downstairs bonus room we can move to. Yep. There's options.
There's a lot of options. It's awesome. And then, you know, this house there's a lot here to keep us busy and we're happy with. Definitely a forever home where you love the school districts we're in. So, yeah.
There's one thing that I want to talk to you about.
Oh, gosh.
About the house.
About the hot tub
it's
spa.
About the hot tub spa. But
hot tub spa jacuzzi thing.
I will leave that on a cliffhanger because we have to tell you about this episode's sponsor, which is Cash App. So we love Cash App because not only are they just a great company and a really awesome supporter of, my channel and the podcast, but they're also the #1 finance app in the App Store. Did you know that, Steven?
I did, because you just told me.
And do you have Cash App downloaded on your phone?
I do, actually.
You do?
You guys talk about it every week, so
High
I
five.
had to do it.
As do I, and you guys should go download Cash App too. But Cash App is a free app that makes it super easy to instantly send money to your friends. So maybe you're with your roommates, you order a pizza, you can Cash App them for the other half. It's super easy. And Cash App also comes with the Cash Card, a free debit card which comes with boosts. And those are basically like instant rewards for shopping at places that you already do. Kind of think of it as like credit card perks, but packed into a free debit card. So if you're ordering from Target, DoorDash, Whole Foods, any of those places, you can get those instant rewards, which is really great. And one of the many reasons that we love Cash App is they are partnering with us to help support a charity that we really love and believe in, and that is the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project provides crisis intervention and support to LGBTQ+ youth, which is something that we think is really important and that we really value, and we appreciate that Cash App values that as well. So if you sign up for Cash App using the promo code UNFILTERED, Cash App will give you $10 and donate $10 to the Trevor Project. So all you have to do, download it for free, link in the description, you get $10 and Cash App will give $10 to the Trevor Project, which we think is just great. So don't forget to use promo code UNFILTERED and download Cash App from the App Store today.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Cash App for being such a wonderful sponsor and, really understanding and working with us too, especially past month.
Cash App has been literally the Regina George's mom of this podcast. Cash App is over in the corner with the video camera being like, yes, Sierra Unfiltered. We got you. We're hyping you up.
Yeah, they've been very supportive, very encouraging, and very consistent with us. So
and easy to work with. I want to do a whole episode about Q&A about being a YouTuber, because I know so many people who have questions about that stuff. But there's just something about working with a company who gets it and who is easy to work with, and just Cash App is so good. Yeah,
it is true. There's actually probably a lot that you could talk about there, because to work with a sponsor, a brand this long, that means something. So on our end, strictly our end.
Yeah.
So
I do a lot of speaking engagements for YouTube. So YouTube itself has had me speak on a lot of different panels, both at their headquarters and at different events. They flew me out to Chicago, New York. They had me speak on a panel at VidCon. And usually what I'm speaking for is I am the YouTuber speaking to brands. So they'll bring in a bunch of brands and be like, we want you to work with creators. So here's a panel of creators you can ask questions to. And the thing that I've noticed that the brands, I always get the biggest reaction from the brands that they're so surprised at, is that, the budget is important, and it definitely is important that you're getting paid a fair rate. But there's a whole nother factor of how difficult is this brand to work with? And creators talk. Yeah. When I get offered...
Or how difficult are creators to work with.
Right.
So
exactly. And so all the time, if I get offered a brand that I love and they're easy to work with, and I know that from other creators, I'm willing to compromise on the budget if I have to. Whereas if there's a brand, I don't care how much you're paying me. If I don't like your product, I'm not even going to consider it. But even if I like your product, if I know that you guys are really difficult to work with, I'm just going to say no, because it's not worth my time.
Yeah, no, there's a lot there.
I've had many, many offers on brand deals where budget looks good. I love the brand. I love the product. I like the campaign. And I'm like, they just worked with this other YouTuber that I'm friends with. So I'll text that YouTuber, hey, what was your experience working with Steven's Hat Emporium? And that's my fake company.
Hat Emporium.
Steven's Hat Emporium. And they're like, everything was great except for Steven. Steven of Steven's Hat Emporium is just so difficult to work with. And he has so many asks and makes it so difficult. And the video didn't get up on time. And I'm like, cool. Now I know how to stay away from that company.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are so many things I could talk about. And we've got nothing but time then to sit here and do podcasts.
Yeah.
So,
oh, man, that's a crazy thought. But yeah. Anyway, that was exciting. Where were we? We had some sort of cliffhanger.
Oh, yes, my cliffhanger. I wanted to talk about the jacuzzi. So,
the jacuzzi spa hot tub thing.
So
warm body of water.
Steven mansplained me in my DMs, and I was not here for it.
Mansplained. I hate that word.
You did! I posted just a nice little video of me in the jacuzzi. And Steven goes, actually... And I posted a screenshot of it. I called him out on my story. He's like, actually, a jacuzzi is a brand name. And a hot tub is generally an above-ground body of water. So what you're sitting in is a spa. And, like, smiley face, like, so passive-aggressive. But I just burped. That's not what I wanted to talk about. Well, kind of. It wasn't about the nomenclature.
Was I wrong about the nomenclature?
What's the word you're using?
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature? What does that mean?
Like
the naming?
I don't know what it means. I think it means, like, the language. It's like language... Like, it's like words.
Okay. But the thing I wanted to talk about was...
It's words.
Steven told me, don't turn on the spa, don't heat it up, because it's too expensive, so we shouldn't do it that often.
That's one small part. There's a big part.
Let me finish.
Big part.
Someone DM'd me. It was like, you should really look into getting solar heating for your spa, because then it's not that expensive to run, and you can do it whenever you want. We have solar heating.
Yes, but it's 60 degrees outside, so solar heating won't work.
Wait, so why? But why won't it work? I don't believe that. You're telling me solar panels only work half the time?
No, it needs... Solar heating, and I am a brand new pool owner who has owned this thing for less than a week. But from how I understand it, and how the previous owner and everything I've read online is, you don't use solar heating until it gets hotter, because you need the air outside to be hotter. It needs to be warmer. So
when can we use the...
When it's warmer.
We live in California. It's always warm.
I know. But no, right now it's like 60, 70 degrees. And a little bit hotter, and then we can start turning it on every day.
We bought a house with a pool and a jacuzzi. And he doesn't want to use it because it's too expensive when we did the math, and it's like $6.
So wait.
Okay,
No,
you don't get to eat lunch.
Executive insertion. Because... You're missing one huge point.
What's the huge point I'm missing?
So Sierra and I decided that we'd use the spa the first day. I have no idea how a pool works. We have a very complicated pool because it has the spa, hot tub, 2 waterfall features, and solar heating, and a furnace heater.
That's the most bougie sentence you've ever said. We have a really complicated pool because there's 2 waterfalls.
It's just the plumbing back there is so complicated. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing, and I have no idea how any of it works. So anyways, Sierra's like begging me to use the spa. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll get my wife this. I'll start heating it up. So I hit like the spa on button, thinking everything's Gucci. Come back 30 minutes later. Our 500, 600 gallon spa is completely emptied. Our pool is completely overflowing, and it is just water's pouring out into our yard and down the driveway, and
it was a mess.
It was terrifying. The pump's running and the spa's dry, and I'm thinking I'm burning everything up. I had like a literal anxiety attack, like trying to solve that, and I was just freaking out. And I was
gone. I was at the store.
Yes, Sierra's gone. Can you hit me with the groceries? No. I figured it out. I fixed everything. I got like water back in the spa. I was using like a 10-gallon trash can, and I did like a lot of those.
And then 2 days later, Steven was like, you know what? I figured out what was wrong and talked to the previous owner.
Yes, and it wasn't my fault. Me and the previous owner, we think the inspector left one of the actuators in the wrong operational mode, which basically took all the water out of the spa and pushed it in the pool, obviously. But
so a couple days later, Steven's like, we figured it out. We can use the spa. I'm like, cool, great. I'm so excited to use the spa. So he turns it on, and we have a great night out in the spa.
And I like babysat that pool. I like sat there for the whole 30 minutes it was heating up. I'm like watching it. I'm watching all the pool levels. I'm watching all the I'm watching all the actuators move, and I'm like, okay, everything looks fine. Everything's fine.
So we have a great night in the spa.
Yeah, wonderful
night. Really awesome.
Had a bottle of champagne out there. It was rad.
It was fantastic. And then 2 days later, I'm like, hey, I want to use the jacuzzi. And this was yesterday, Wednesday night. So I was like, Survivor's on at 8. I'm thinking we turn on the spa at 5:30. We go in the jacuzzi from 6 to 7. Then we get on the couch. We watch Survivor. We start it right at 8. It's perfect.
And then one terrible thing happened.
Steven goes...
No, wait.
What?
I found out that we're on time of use. I was like, Sierra,
So basically,
Wife, we can't do anything between the hours of 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. We have to turn off everything and sit around a campfire.
So Steven's like, because we like are charged based on time of use, let's turn on the jacuzzi at 9. And I was like, but here's the problem with that, Steven. Survivor's on at 8. So I want to go in the spot before Survivor. And he's like, well, no, we're not going to do that because it's too expensive. And I said, how expensive is it? Do the math. Let me know. If it's like $20, yeah, I agree. Let's wait till 9.
And also some more context. Very stressed. Appliances aren't working. We don't have a refrigerator. So I was stressed.
We had a refrigerator at that point.
Whatever it was, there was like issues with the washer, or we had just figured out the refrigerator.
You were stressed. I was
stressed. And anyways, we had a big stinking fight.
Steven put his foot down and was like, I am not turning on that jacuzzi until 9 o'clock. And I said, you're going to hold the jacuzzi hostage. And he said, yes. And we had given each other, we had allocated a small budget for each of us to buy a couple fun things for the house. So I bought
dumb money.
I bought a skincare fridge and a pool floaty. Steven bought a cool chair for his office. I had a little bit of money left in that allocated budget. So I said, you know what, Steven? Take the $6 out of my allocated money. I'm going to go sit in the jacuzzi. And he said, no, I'm not. He told me, he was like, I'm not going to show you how to use it. And I said, I think I can figure it out. So I went, I turned on the spot, and I had a great night.
Yeah. Sierra was being a B. I was being a D. We were just...
But I had a great night in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, and I had a great night unpacking boxes.
But we reconciled, you know. I wouldn't even call it a fight. It was just bickering.
No, it was just a falling apart. It was just like bickering, but then it just got hopeless.
Yeah, we were just so stressed. But I think tonight, as like a nice, you know, mending of the jacuzzi bridge, we wait till 9 o'clock, which is when we're going to finish this anyways. Then we turn on the spa.
It's 9:40.
Perfect. See, it won't be expensive, and we both get to use the jacuzzi. Now it's too late.
I got to go to bed soon.
After the jacuzzi.
Yeah, or maybe a nice hot bath.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to call it a jacuzzi.
Yeah, what's that? A jacuzzi? Do we have one of those?
Well, and then you call it a spa. But when I think spa, I think like when I go to the spa.
Yeah. You notice the button says spa on the pool thing, though?
No, I didn't notice that, Steven.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
You clicked it.
No, I wasn't looking at it.
You know you did.
I did not see it say spa. But, yeah, that was our jacuzzi fight.
Yeah, that was exciting.
You have to admit, though, I got my money's worth. I got my $6 worth. I stayed in that jacuzzi for an hour and a half. I didn't get out till 7:54, and Survivor started at 8.
It was great. I had the whole house to myself.
You didn't miss me?
No. We were... But anyways, so that was exciting times. And I was also very nervous because every time I turn that pool on, I'm going to like have flashbacks and like have to stare at it for a while.
You're having war flashbacks?
Like, oh gosh, is it leaking? Is it pushing water out the right way? Did the actuator move the right way?
You just really like using the word actuator, don't you? It just makes you feel really smart.
It got put in my vocabulary.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Luke Skywalker's like, but we were going to go down to Tashi Station and pick up some power converters. You're like, but I wanted to go in the jacuzzi until the actuators. It's the same, like, whiny, fancy word.
But the reason our pool flooded and we probably sent like 100 gallons of water down our driveway.
Oh, your driveway. So we got pregnant, but it's your driveway.
Exactly. Yeah, it's because one of our actuators was in the wrong operational mode.
Oh my god.
No, but other than that, things are good.
I really love this new house.
We finally have all the appliances working, which that was
Steven spent a really long time trying to get them all up and running. It's been really difficult to navigate this move during the pandemic.
Yes.
Because it's just us. It's not as easy as like, oh, we'll just call the refrigerator company and have them come fix it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, so speaking of refrigerators are hard to find right now. Holy cow.
And our house did not come with a refrigerator.
Yes, we had to get some new appliances. And the refrigerator was hard. We could not find a refrigerator within a 50-mile radius for a long time.
We ordered one, and then they canceled it, which, fair, because it's a pandemic. So if you need to cancel a refrigerator order.
The store that canceled our delivery is, I think, 40 miles away. So.
Well, the only thing that frustrated me about it was you saw that the order got canceled and you called them and were like, hey, it's not a big deal if it's canceled, but like, is it canceled? And they were like, day of.
And they're like, no, it's still being delivered. Oh, okay. And then the move day was stressful, let alone that's a whole nother thing.
Days. It took us days.
The first night, though, was rough.
Just
and
awful.
that, like, it's like 2 a.m. and we're just finishing. And we're like, wait, the refrigerator never came. We're like, oh, come on. But anyways, we finally found one from Best Buy, but they don't deliver inside. So we just had a refrigerator on our driveway.
Had to figure out how to get it in.
Then I had the pleasure of dollying in and setting up, but...
Yeah, because that's the other, so places are still delivering, but usually they would also install, and there isn't installation right now, which is, I think, we wouldn't want that really because safety.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every company has different policy, and we had, it was just a thing, but we got it figured out. That is now past us.
High five. Now there's just a million other things to figure out with this house.
Well, yeah,
but it's fun.
Like today was our first time using the dishwasher, and then I like ran it and I opened it up. I was like, "Oh, something's very wrong here," and it was just like the water was off in the back. So like just all these little tiny things. Every time I use a new appliance, I'm like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" Like I use the gas dryer and I feel like it's gonna blow up when I first used it, but it didn't. So, but like I said, all of those are done now. You had a weird thing with the washer today where you put in like 10 gallons of soap and it made it like a bubble farm.
I did not put in 10. I put in the normal amount of soap, but I was washing a pair of shoes for a video. They're washable shoes. And I guess it was too much soap for the amount of things that were in there. And there was just bubbles everywhere when you open it.
What'd you do? Yeah. So we're figuring it out. Yeah.
This is I'm really happy that we went through with this house though. So Steven came.
There's actually no doubt whatsoever. And
good. This true?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That makes me happy.
I have my office that I have nothing in because all I own is a chair and my TV. I can't wait to actually get furniture. Which, yeah, I have a desk coming from IKEA, but that's supposed to be like 2 or 3 weeks. I
bought this fancy Canon remote because usually we have Carly and or Jess behind the camera.
Yeah.
Because this camera stops recording every 30 minutes. And so usually they just stop and start. But obviously we don't have anyone here. My employees are working from home. So this is my new production assistant. It's a remote.
Yeah. Definitely crazy times.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see just like how everyone handles things differently. One of the things that made me, I don't know, it just was like a little nice ray of hope. is I posted on my Instagram story and I asked people to write something they were looking forward to. So maybe we'll end the podcast with me reading a couple of those to leave it on a good note.
I'm looking forward to just going to the grocery store normally.
That was actually what a lot of people said, was like just going to Target.
Yeah, like and taking my time, because I am a huge, you make fun of me so much, but man, nothing gives me enjoyment like going by myself, having nothing to rush back home to, and just walking the aisles. It's like, ooh, look at that. I just like seeing the things.
Steven will go through every aisle at Target.
It's just so relaxing to me. I just like, it's my only time where I have nothing to do. And no one's bugging me. Like, la, 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 la.
So a lot of people said go to Disneyland.
That would be fun.
Do you think the crowds are going to be crazy when it reopens? Because everyone's like, I just want to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, I want to say yeah, but there's just so much I don't know. Because there's also like, I imagine, yeah, why not? Sure.
We should go when it reopens and ride Rise of the Resistance again.
What if it reopens tomorrow?
Then we're not going.
See?
It's not going to reopen tomorrow. We're still very much in pandemic mode.
It is, but when it opens, there will be an opinion that it's too early. I guarantee.
If it opens too early, then we won't go, though.
But when is too early?
That's the question. Lots of people saying, like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
What? Sierra's mom says.
My mom responded to it, and she just said, "See my whole family."
Yeah. Which has been nuts. We have this new home and no one from our family has come.
Great yard for entertaining the two of us.
No friends, nothing. We did the whole move.
The weirdest thing too is we live really close to Kenzie now, And we were so excited to like be neighbors and live close to each other because we've always lived like at least 30 minutes away from each other. And we have not gotten to enjoy that at all.
We're very close to Skylar and Kyle now. That hasn't benefited us whatsoever.
I know. We used to live like almost an hour away from them. Now we're like just down the road.
Hollywood was probably like almost 2 hours.
2.5, 3. Yeah.
So
this is the closest we've ever lived to them. And Milo, I haven't seen since he was 2 weeks old.
Yeah. No, it's nuts. It's really weird because like obviously at our old house, my dad was such a huge part for me of like we'd go through and fix things up and do X, Y, Z. And now we have like FaceTime and it's like, oh, well, when this is over, I can come over and help. And
I feel like it's one of those things where it is going to make me appreciate those little things more.
Yeah. And that's kind of a weird thing that I'm just thinking about, like just me going to the office and like getting some social interaction.
Yeah.
You're very limited and restricted social interaction, but it is social interaction.
You can't have that now.
No, I'm saying that's what I do when I go to the office.
Yeah.
Like I see people, I talk to people. The company's taking a very strong stance on how to do that the right way with social distancing and everything. Like we're rearranging areas and stuff to give people space, but like you don't have those kind of things. So
yeah. I've seen quite a few people saying that they're excited to like start fertility treatments again. So I don't know if you know that, but all in the US, all fertility treatments were paused.
What are fertility treatments?
So like IVF or anything like that of like assisting getting pregnant. So I talked to my OB and she said it's fine for me to continue trying. I definitely talk to your own OB, but that it might add more anxiety. So if that's something that would bother me, to definitely, put a pause on.
And that's something we definitely talked about.
Right. But it is crazy to think about all the people who were doing fertility treatments and now it's just on pause.
Yeah. No, then there's,
So very excited for all the people who are going to be making babies when this is done. That's very exciting.
Yeah, the next baby boom of the new millennium, new decade.
Is after Gen Z going to be like Boomer 2.0?
Wait, what's the word for 100 years? I can't think of it.
Century?
Centennial?
Centennial.
The next centennials, baby boomers.
A lot of people are just saying like really simple things like going to a restaurant, hanging out with friends.
Oh, going to a restaurant.
I know. Wouldn't you love to go to Miguel's and get that queso with the chips and the big margaritas? Ugh, I want that so bad.
That sounds nice.
But I got stuff for us to have a taco night, so I will make our own restaurant.
I would love to see you make me margaritas.
Well, we can't make margaritas because we don't have stuff for that. But
yeah, we can.
How? We're not going to the store just to get stuff for margaritas.
No, we have everything.
What do we have?
What do you think you need?
Margarita mix.
No, no margarita mix. Come on.
Lime, tequila.
We have tequila.
That's it. Here's your margarita. It's a glass with salt around the rim filled with tequila. I'm so doing that.
Are you gonna buy some like agave juice online?
No. A lot of people saying going to the movies, seeing my boyfriend again. Can you imagine all the people who haven't seen their significant others? That's going to be such an exciting reunion.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It is. There is something nice about being quarantined with your partner. I miss my family, but like you're my person. And so if I was going to be quarantined with anyone and fighting about the jacuzzi, I'd want it to be you.
Aww.
Someone said shop at Target without being scared of being sick. A lot of people are saying going to school and they're like so over online classes.
You ever think we'll like not care about germs again?
I think.
Will I touch a door handle and I'll be like, "Oop, time to goop on some hand sanitizer."
I think personally, I'm forever changed.
Because I try to be realistic and be like, as soon as this is done, like a year later, I'll probably forget anything and just like la 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 la. But like, I can't imagine that being the case. I assume that will happen, but I can't imagine it.
I've become hyper fixated on germs.
Well, like, how would you ever go to somewhere like Disneyland again?
I don't know. The whole time I'll be like, oh my God, so many people are within 6 feet of me. I just touched this handle. And I mean, I understand Skylar more than I ever have now. Because we'd be all the time. My whole thing with the Pixar ball. that I was bouncing it on the floor of Disneyland, and she was like, "That's so gross. You're getting Disney germs all over all over your hands. The ball's touching the floor."
And you bite churro.
Yeah, exactly. And back then I was like, whatever, Skylar. And now I'm like, oh my God, I so get it.
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Let me read a couple more of these. So many people saying church. I miss church. It's weird that we can't
Speaking of community.
What?
Just talking to your neighbors.
We have not gotten to meet our neighbors. There was one of them was playing with their kids in their backyard, that we share a fence with, and so we just were like, "Hey, nice to meet you. We would have come to say hi, but pandemic."
Well, and then one of our neighbors left toilet paper on our front door
with a little bow on it.
Welcome to the neighborhood gift, and we're like, "Wow, that was kind of cool." Very in with the times.
I know. I was like, "You're trendy."
And then we have another neighbor across the street who wanted to help me with something, but he's like, "Well, when this whole thing passes by, I can come over and we can look at something." And
man, a lot of people saying they're just excited to go out and about. Just going to a sporting game, going to the movies, going shopping, hugging their parents. There are all those little things that I think hopefully we can all take a little bit more, appreciate a little bit more.
Yeah, just, reminding ourselves that the boring things we do every day is not taken for granted.
Yeah.
So.
But then when this is over, we'll start taking them for granted again, because that's life.
Yep, that's exactly how it works.
But I like the idea of me making you a Mexican food restaurant at the house tomorrow.
What is making me... What?
I will put on a little... I don't know. I'll put a paper towel over my arm and be like, "Hello, sir. Welcome to..."
Will you cook my ground beef?
No, but I will cook you Beyond Beef. This is a vegetarian restaurant, sir. You can bring your own meat. BYOM.
That'd be fun. And then we should make cocktails. We have so much crap that we just never use. Or maybe we'll just do it cold.
We don't have mixers though. All we have is hard liquor in the liquor cabinet that we never drink.
We have white wine. You can mix it. We can get some Sprite.
But we don't have Sprite. I don't want to go we're limiting trips to the store. I bought everything that we need to be here for a week and a half, so we don't have to go to the store for a week and a half.
Yeah.
I planned out every meal, every snack, everything, breakfast.
I need to start calculating our toilet paper rationing here.
Honestly, yeah.
Because it's not getting too bad. Because luckily, Target, we're big Target people, as I think our whole little friend group is. At least with Kyle and Skylar. Mm-hmm. They always have this dumb thing where spend $30 and get a $5 gift card. So I just buy so much toilet paper. It's not even funny. And I just have stacks of it in my garage. And it's just normal. But
it wasn't a doomsday prep thing. It's that's normal.
I get $5 if I buy 3 packs of toilet paper. Okay.
So luckily we were decently stocked.
I was about halfway through my last pile.
But we're running low.
Well, yeah. So I have some hidden around the house.
Well, and our bidet is still at the old house. Yeah. So if you get that bidet over here, our toilet paper use goes down 75%.
You're strictly right.
I know.
So we got to do that. And also, we got to get over to that house to get the rest of the stuff out.
I know. I kind of want to take the dogs to see it one last time.
Nope. That is strictly just a waste of time.
Why? Why?
That'd be kind of funny watching them run around the vacant house.
I know.
Run into the bedroom.
Oh. Right? That's what I think. I think it'd be really cute. I think we should do it.
It'd be funny having you go back there. You haven't been there
What, you think I'm going to be like, oh. I'll be like the dogs.
You haven't been there since it's been vacant. Sierra left, what was it? I was moving the rest of the stuff out, and then you kind of left, and then that's when I really cleaned it out.
Yeah.
So, you haven't seen it, super empty.
Mm-mm. That'd be weird.
Sierra's been team unpack. I've been team pack and move everything from the old house.
Mm-hmm.
Which we had a really good cadence, and then we just kind of puttered out the last 2 days.
Yeah. I vlogged this morning okay, guys, today's going to be me reorganizing my closet. Guess what I didn't do?
I still have to unpack my closet.
Well, that's the other thing.
Every time I get dressed, I'm I'm still getting dressed out of a cardboard box.
I unpacked my stuff.
I know. I'm still very behind.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and end this podcast so we can go in the spa.
Oh, the spa.
The
yes,
spa.
I know exactly what
I'm
you're
going to
talking
purposely call it a hot tub or a jacuzzi just because
I'm just going to call it a warm body of water.
Ew. That sounds really gross. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening or watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the podcast channel. It helps us out a lot. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a review. 5 stars, please.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Sierra and I ramble for however long we just rambled. You know, we're getting back in the swing of things here. We'll be next one. We're going to be back swinging hard as ever.
I think the next podcast we're going to do is telling like embarrassing childhood stories to each other. Oh, we gathered those a while ago. We texted our families and we're like, hey, do you guys have any embarrassing stories? And then everything happened. And
oops. Yeah, that would be fun. I don't even know if I still have those texts, but I got to find them.
I wrote mine down, so I am set.
I didn't write anything down because I don't think like that.
Also, I love that you're wearing the headphones over your hat. It's very Steven.
Thank you. It's very stylish.
You became a hat guy like recently.
It's been a little more than recently.
Well, it's been like 6 months to a year.
So when I get a haircut, they they style your hair for you. So like I won't wear a hat because they styled it. And then I come to work and everyone's like, whoa, where's your hat? Like, ooh, well, no hat today. I'm like, that's like for me when I start realizing like, oh, well, people really expect me to
I'm
wear
a hat guy.
I'm that guy now. So, yeah.
It's cute. I like the dad hat look on you.
Maui. Anyways, it is 10 o'clock at night.
All right, bye guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching.